Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Dustin, this is Costly Hobby, and today I'm gonna be doing some camping in my 1986 Chevy Suburban, and later I'll be making some tacos over the fire. Let's go. All right, I think that'll do. So at the time of recording this, while I'm sitting at home on my couch, brain rotting my way through social media, as one does to escape the dark clutches of boredom, practically all I come across is posts and articles and news coverage about how our neighbors to the south are facing the full negative force of a massive winter storm that is leaving in its wake freezing conditions across the country and, dare I say, ice. But surprisingly, where I live in Canada, we've actually been having a crazy unprecedented warm spell, which is why I'm actually out here in shorts. So to take advantage of the beautiful weather, I thought I would get out and do a little bit of simple camping in the back of my 86 Chevy Suburban that I actually just bought yesterday. It is the 1st of February, and right now where I'm standing, it is usually covered in about 2 feet of snow. But climate change is a scam. But actually, on a serious note, it is 3:34 right now, which means I only have about an hour and a half left of daylight on a good day. So let's quickly check out the rig and then I'll get a fire going and make some food. So if you haven't seen a Suburban, what makes these units super cool rigs for camping is that these back seats right here actually fold forward and lay completely flat with the cargo area in the back. And when you do that, it actually gives you about 8 by 5 feet of space to work with, which really opens the door to a practically unlimited number of possible camping configurations. Somewhere down here, there's a little lever and you just pull it and you flip that forward and wow, I need a vacuum in here. But then there's another lever and you just lay that flat. Then you can just do the same thing to the little one if you even need to, because this is already a crazy amount of space if you wanted to build a bed or something back here. It's really up to you on what your configuration is really gonna look like. Now, the only kind of bummer about this particular Suburban is that you can see that it's a tailgate model, which means the window has to come down before the tailgate can drop. You can actually find these in a barn door model, and I personally way prefer it because you just click a button and they open like this, and it makes it way more convenient to get in and out of the cargo area. But for me, I'm gonna end up having to go through the side door a lot, but I'll show you how it works anyways. So I have to actually come all the way up into the front, make sure that the key is on, and then I just click this button right here, and then you can see my window. Oh. Uh-oh. My window's not going down. And apparently sometimes the window just doesn't go down, so I can't actually get into my tailgate, which means I'm gonna have to go in and out of the passenger door all night, and that makes filming just a little bit more inconvenient, so stick around for that. Just another reason not to go anywhere without a toolkit. Pull out a screwdriver, see if I can open this up, and see why our window is not going down. Oh no. Another win for barn door. Okay, so apparently this thing is what makes the window go down. You can see it's just got a little gear thing in there, and that gear spins, and then it spins this one around, but it wasn't sitting in there very well, so it was kind of loose. There. It feels like it's catching, and it's got to feed it into that little thing in behind there, and we should have a window that works again. Back to normal programming. So here's the thing. I could have edited all of that out and pretended like nothing happened, but that would seem a little bit disingenuous to me. And it turns out that the real trick to fixing your window and making it go down so that you can open your tailgate is pushing the right button. Check it out. Let's come back in here, throw our key on, and then you'll notice that earlier I was clicking that button right there, and it was making that sound. Terrible sound. But what you will notice is that says rear AC, and it's actually this button that makes the window go down. Hi. So now that that's down, we can continue setting up camp. And then we just open a tailgate, which also doesn't always work so awesome.
One eternity later.
Okay. Okay. Moving on. Now we are really running out of light, so I'm gonna burn through this pretty quick. Some firewood on the ground. Now, like I said, I bought this yesterday, so A, I haven't had time to build anything cool back here, and B, I'm not sure if I'm going to because I'm really just a weekend warrior, but I did go out and I bought a cot, so I'm gonna see if it'll actually fit in here, which I have a feeling it might, even if it's a bit of a tight fit, and I'll set that up with, I got this fancy 0-degree sleeping bag off of Amazon, and I have yet to open that, and that's pretty much it. Ooh, cool, it's got a little buckle. Wow. That's kind of nice, actually. I don't know how it... Does it have no thing to make sure that it's clipped all the way down? Oh. Oh, yeah. Push these down, and then should be good. Look at that. That fits awesome. Then we'll open up our sleeping bag. Holy. You know, I should really carry a knife with me. Oh, it's got a little tear tab. Look at that. That makes things way easier. Throw that in there because we don't leave garbage at our campground. Holy, this is just buckled and dialed so... They do not make these easy to get into. There we go. Ow! Oh! Something got me. Okay. Well, that looks like the head anyways. Got that plaid because, well, I like it. Okay. Camp is set up. Now, I was watching Crazy Katie the other day, and he just released a really cool video about all the essentials that a guy really needs to get out there truck camping. And one of the things that he stressed the absolute most is the importance of getting yourself a really quality cooler. So obviously, I didn't do that because I didn't have like $400 for a Yeti cooler. So what I did get is this really cool foam cooler that I picked up from my hardware store for $11.99. And it's doing the job, so is what it is. And it fits perfectly with room to spare at the end of my bed, and I can still use it as a table for if I want to watch a movie or something later, so can't beat 12 bucks. Now I think it's time we got a fire going because I am really hungry and the sun is disappearing, so my light is about to be real bad. And as per standard protocol, I've got matches and a little bit of fire starter, so. Take two. Take three. Okay, we're just gonna. There we go. Come on. Catch, 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 catch. Awesome. So like I said, today I'm making tacos. So I went to the grocery store and I picked up a fancy Taco Bell shell kit. I got a cast iron pan from Canadian Tire, which is just like your regular hardware store. And then I've got, well, that's a surprise for later. I've got gloves so that I don't burn myself. And then in here, we've got ourselves, trying to keep it cool, cheese, sour cream, and hamburger. And that's really all my tacos are because I don't do all the veg stuff, so it is what it is. I actually only was sold on sour cream very recently. I used to just do beef and cheese, and that was my whole taco. So it's an improvement at the very least, but I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments what you think. So I chose tacos because they are by far the simplest camping meal that I think you can make if you're going to incorporate a protein of some sort. All you really need is a pan, which you can throw over a raw fire or a ring fire like this, just like so. Whew. That's why I got the gloves. And then you got your beef, which you just kind of open and slap on there, like so. And because I was super excited leaving the house today, I didn't get a spatula, so I'm just gonna have to make do with this little spoon that I got to just kind of chop all of our beef. Mix and mix and mix and mix and mix. And after a little while, you just kind of leave it on there and let it brown. So while the beef is browning, I thought it would be really cool if we made a drink to go along with our tacos. And because of the beautiful weather we've been having, I thought there would be nothing better than Piña Coladas. So I went to the store and I picked up some pineapple juice, some coconut milk, and of course, some Malibu rum. Hey, you come back here right now. And because I don't have a blender out here in the wild, I got a bag of ice and a meat mashing thing that I think I can mince well enough into this shaker glass to make myself a nice blended, well, concoction that I think will go well with the tacos anyways. So to start that off, I'm just gonna, oh my goodness. Anyways, throw some ice into another bag because I don't want to ruin this one. We'll just seal that up. Get rid of some of the air in there. That'll melt. I'm gonna take our meat masher and just, this was actually my wife's idea, so if it doesn't work, we can blame her. And there we have it, a bunch of crushed ice that is perfect for a pina colada. And if I had some snow that was safe on the ground, I probably could have just used that, but I don't really trust anything out here, so we're making do with what we have. We'll just zaz a good amount of that and lose a bunch of it apparently. Zaz that into our mixing cup there. Then we'll take some pineapple juice and no child lock. Throw a good amount of that in there. Pop the coconut milk. Huh. That is like thick cream. By the way, if you've never used one of these, this is how they are meant to open cans. You just kind of go around the whole thing until it does what you need it to. Carefully peel that open so I don't slice myself. That, I feel like I did this once and it was a lot thinner than that, but we'll just googe. Oh, there it is. There's the thinner coconut milk. Okay. Well, you should probably mix that, but whatever. This will have to do. Oh my goodness. We're just making an absolute mess everywhere, but that's okay. We will clean up after ourselves and make sure everything gets into a proper, I want to say garbage, but receptacle? Yeah, a proper garbage receptacle. Anyways, after that, we'll open up our Malibu and we'll just give it a little bit there, probably an ounce or two, or, you know, as much as you want. Throw our lid back on and then shake it all up. Open it up and I'll admit, it's actually looking pretty good, but one sec, you need to see it. I was fancy and I went and got a plastic glass. Pour that in there. Oh, and you have yourself a really simple camping pina colada, which it looks pretty good, so. Whew. I'll admit, I wish I would have beat that ice just a little bit more, but it tastes delicious, and a nice strong drink is exactly what I need tonight. Can quickly throw our seasoning kit in there. I really enjoy the Taco Bell seasoning. Mix around, throw some water in there just to get that seasoning all mixed in nice and good. And now that it's browned, we can just take it off the fire. Always wear a glove so you don't burn yourself. I have learned that too many times. These are actually welding gloves, and they absolutely kick the teeth out of any sort of oven mitt or whatever. I could hold this for days on end, and the only thing that would get sore is my arm from holding the weight of the pan. So I have my pan sitting on a couple pieces of split wood. You probably could just leave it on, like if you have a picnic table like this is made of wood. I'm sure it would be fine, but it's a public campground and it's a really hot pan. I don't want to like leave marks or burn into it or anything like that. I want to leave it better than I found it. So I'm just going to use the pieces of wood as my little table thing there and call it good. If you don't have a table like this, like the tailgate of my Suburban would be totally awesome. You could use the hood of your truck. It doesn't really matter if you're not too worried about the paint, but so long as you use something underneath, doesn't matter. Now normally I'm a hard shell person, but lately I've been really into soft shell tacos. Throw those there. Grab myself some beef. Of course we gotta sprinkle the cheese. Lots of cheese. Then open up our sour cream. We'll just use the same spoon, and we can just dollop a bit of that on there. I'm not using this sour cream for anything else, so. And the real secret, which isn't much of a secret, is that these little taco kits usually come with their own little hot sauces. And that's probably the reason I like the Taco Bell one the most, is I love the Taco Bell hot sauce. Just throw some of that on there. And there you have it, Campfire tacos. Look at how great those look. Then there's nothing left but to grab myself a chair, take a nice seat, enjoy myself a good drink and some great tacos. You can't beat campfire food. All right, I'm gonna finish these off, hang out by the fire for a little bit until it gets dark, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, the fire is still going, but it is getting really dark, so I'm gonna crawl into the Suburban and get situated for the night. I'll see you inside and I'll deal with the fire after. Just making my way into here. Okay, and welcome to Inside the Suburban. First impressions, couple things right off the bat. One, I think if I were to do this again, I would probably get a slightly lower cot or some sort of bed platform, just because I'm 6'1", and as you can tell, I've got like no room for activities up here. And number two, I went out and bought this fancy lantern so that I could shed a little light on the subject and, you know, filming and whatnot to make things a little easier for you guys to see. But what I didn't realize is that it is actually powered by D-cell batteries, which I don't think I've seen since 2004. So guess who didn't go and buy those? So instead, I'm just using the interior dome lights of the Suburban and just kind of crossing my fingers that I don't completely run down the battery. But if I do, I actually carry around a little booster pack with me on every camping trip. So not too big of a worry, but still pretty inconvenient. So here's hoping. So one of the things that I really enjoy while I'm camping is making a coffee for myself while I relax in the evening so that I can throw on a movie or read a book or something and have a nice hot cup of joe. And I really like instant coffee because it's super convenient. All I got to do is heat up the water, throw in a little bit of this stuff and mix it and I'm good to go. And on this trip particularly, I really wanted to try one of these little like standalone isobutane burner things, which I think it's safe to run inside here. But I realized that amongst all of the other things that I seem to have forgotten on this trip, I didn't bring a pot or a kettle or any of the things that I usually have when I go camping in my big camper or anything like that. But depending on the size of the flame, which I'm going to try it out in a sec, I do actually primarily use these little stainless steel cups. It does have a plastic handle, which is a little bit concerning, but I don't see why I can't just use that and heat my water, maybe not to a boil or anything like that, but get it hot enough that I can at least have a simple cup of coffee. So this looks like it's got a pull tab and just, oh, I don't know why. I thought that was going to like split open or something like that, but I guess it makes more sense that it would just come off. And then the burner just apparently, does it pop on or screw on? It looks like it threads on. Pardon my lack of knowledge on these things. I've really never had a purpose to use one before. Let's see, turn the knob. Ooh, and then it's not working, and I can smell the gas. That sucks. Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll just pour my water into the cup here. Up there ought to do it. And that does look like a pretty reasonably sized flame. So I'm just gonna throw that right onto there and let it do its thing. Okay, my water is actually starting to bubble a bit, so it's probably hot enough. I'm just gonna turn that off. See how it is. Oh. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but I did melt my handle a little bit. But you can hear that that water is definitely hot. So let's put this down for the evening. We'll just see if I can do this one-handed. See, there we go. Easiest coffee ever. Just throw a bit of that in there. And then we just mix it around a little bit. I don't remember where I put my spoon in here after I was done with my taco meat, but I cleaned it outside with some snow on the ground, and then I put it somewhere, and it would be really handy right now because doing this is, well, it's sketchy at best. I'm just gonna use my little matchstick that I had earlier. Matchstick coffee. Nothing better. Nice. And cheers. Yeah. Yeah. There's no other words, just yeah. All right, so now that I've got my coffee, I think it's time for me to just kick back for a little while. I can see the neighbors across from me have got their fire going. They actually just pulled in a few minutes ago, and they had their lights blaring in here, and I don't think I got any of that on camera, but it is what it is. Anyways, I had originally planned to keep going with a book that I'm reading, and I really want to finish it, but it's getting kind of late, and the whole filming thing, I think I'm just going to kick back and watch a movie instead. And my wife actually did pick a good movie for me, so it all kind of works out. If I didn't mention it earlier in the video, the campground that I'm at right now is actually situated on a lake. So my wife, in her ever-appreciated ingenuity, decided it would be a great idea for me to watch a horror movie that takes place on a lake. I guess the movie's called La Llorona, and she swears up and down that I've seen it before, but I have zero recollection of it. So I've got my doors locked because that sounds absolutely terrifying, but I'm going to check it out anyways, and, well, hopefully I'm still around in the morning. I just went to move my coffee so that I could put my laptop on the cooler, and apparently I didn't have the lid very tight, so that is a bummer.
I place little stock in legends, myths, things that go bump in the night.
Oh gosh. My back does not like getting up off of that. Come on. Stop. Okay. So that was actually a really good movie. My wife was wrong. I've definitely never seen that before. I think I could recommend it, but I don't know. It wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. They made some references to like Annabelle and stuff, and like that's usually a little bit more scary, but this one wasn't so bad. I think I'll be okay for the night. All right, guys, I am nicely tucked into my sleeping bag, and it is actually really cozy on this cot. This is the first time I've ever laid on it, and I don't feel any like bars or anything like that. It's actually really nice. But I realized that I have been wearing this toque all night, and it was just so cozy. I didn't even bother to take it off. But I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of quiet. And it didn't even occur to me, take your toque off, Dustin. But whatever. So anyways, I can finally take that off, and wow, I can actually hear myself think. Who'd have thought? But anyways, I'm really cozy, and I'm gonna go to sleep, and I will see you guys in the morning. Well, that's really it. Good night, guys. Where did my light go? Right there. Come on. Click, click. Oh. Off. Good night.
Okay, good morning, guys. So last night was cold. If I learned anything, it's that if you're going to do this, don't cheap out on a sleeping bag. Make sure that you're getting one that's really rated for the temperature it says it is. Because this one is supposed to be a 0-degree bag. And I've slept with my fair share of 0-degree bags, and this is not it. This felt like a summer bag. I am currently double socked and double sweatpants, and I got a hoodie on. And I really wish I didn't take the toque off, because I can't find it anywhere, and it would have been quite handy last night, but it's cold. Anyways, I think I'm ready to go find a shower and get warmed up, so I want to start the truck and get the heater running. I was going to do it at like 3 a.m., but because of the campers across from me, I didn't want it to be too loud for them. So I ended up running this isobutane torch for a good while, just trying to heat it up a little bit in here. But I was worried about carbon monoxide and, all the things. So anyways, I'm gonna get up, get the day started, and go find some heat.
All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here, but before I go, I wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody that watched this video, especially those of you that watched it right through to the end. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like. My last video kind of took off, and I was absolutely blown away with the kindness I saw in your guys' comments. So if you liked this video, please drop another comment of what you thought below on where you think I can improve. I've got a bunch of ideas for more videos that I want to make in the future like this, so if you enjoyed this content, maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button and going to check out one of my older videos as well. Now, I can feel my core temperature dropping by the second, so